Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. Pope Francis says he's praying for peace in Mozambique following a terrorist attack upon a Catholic parish in the East African country. The rectory, church and offices of Our Lady of Africa Mazeze parish were razed to ashes following the attack last week upon the port town of Pemba in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province. Speaking during his Sunday Angelus address to pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, the Pope said he lamented the flare-up in violence against defenceless populations, the destruction of infrastructure, and widespread insecurity in the Cabo Delgado region, where armed Islamist groups have been intensifying their campaign of terror since the start of this year. Meanwhile, Pope Francis also prayed for people suffering from conflict in other countries on the African continent, including Sudan, and also for peace in Ukraine and in the Holy Land. He recalled that war is always a defeat. Let us instead pray tirelessly, concluded Pope Francis, because prayer is effective, and let us ask the Lord for the gifts of minds and hearts dedicated concretely to peace. The widow of the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has vowed to continue his work to fight for a free Russia. Yulia Navalny released a video on Monday calling on her husband's supporters to stand with her. She also blamed President Vladimir Putin for her husband's death. 47-year-old Mr. Navalny died on Friday in a remote Arctic prison. The prison authorities claim he suffered sudden death syndrome, but his allies believe he was murdered upon the orders of President Putin. The Kremlin, though, describes such accusations as frankly obnoxious and say there are no results yet into the investigation of Mr. Navalny's death. Pope Francis has set the dates for the second session of the Vatican Synod on Synodality. The gathering of invited Catholics from around the world will take place later this year in Rome from October the 2nd to October the 27th. The theme for the meeting will be For a Synodal Church, Communion, Participation and Mission. In preparation, Pope Francis has also established the creation of study groups to delve into some of the themes that emerged in the first synodal session last year, with a view to continuing these discussions later this year. Registration is now open for the first National Eucharistic Congress to be held in the United States in over 70 years. The 5-day event will take place in Indianapolis in Indiana from July the 17th to the 21st, with 70,000 pilgrims expected to attend. Organisers are describing the event as a milestone moment in the mission of reviving the Church in the US through the Eucharist. The gathering will include a variety of events, including Holy Mass, catechetical sessions, music and children's programmes. Prominent speakers will include Bishop Robert Barron, Father Mike Schmitz, and the Papal Nuncio to the US Cardinal Christophe Pierre. The Vatican's Dicastery for Evangelization has expressed its solidarity with the people of Nigeria in the wake of an increasing number of kidnappings across the African country. The Dicastery is also urging the Nigerian government to take action in order to secure national stability. Since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took office in May 2023, Nigeria has witnessed approximately 4,000 kidnappings. A massive reparation has been offered at New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral following events at a Requiem Mass in the church last week, which have since been condemned by the city's archdiocese as sacrilegious. The cathedral hosted the funeral service on Thursday for the late Cecilia Gentili, who had been a prominent campaigner for decriminalising prostitution and also for so-called transgenderism. 52-year-old Mr. Gentili was himself a man who claimed to identify as a woman. Throughout the funeral liturgy, the principal celebrant referred to Mr. Gentili with feminine pronouns, while also describing him as our sister. Meanwhile, attendees frequently referred to Mr. Gentili as the, quote, mother of whores. On Saturday, the pastor of St. Patrick's, Father Enrique Salvo, said that the diocese shared in the outrage over the scandalous behaviour, adding that the cathedral staff had no idea their welcome and prayer would be degraded in such a sacrilegious and deceptive way. He also confirmed that a massive reparation has now taken place at the behest of the city's Archbishop, Cardinal Timothy Dolan. South Dakota's House of Representatives has given its approval to a new law requiring medical personnel to be trained on the state's pro-life statutes, as well as how to care for pregnant women in critical situations. Pro-life campaigners have hailed the medical education bill as the first legislation of its kind drafted to end the confusion caused by the abortion industry through direct education to medical professionals. To become law, the legislation now has to be approved by the Republican-controlled state Senate and South Dakota's Republican Governor, Kristi Noem. Meanwhile, pro-life groups in Germany are expressing concern over proposed federal legislation that could make prayer near abortion facilities a criminal offence subject to fines up to $6,300. The bill has been drafted by the Green politician Lisa Paus, who's the Federal Minister for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth. The religious liberty group, Alliance Defending Freedom International, say the bill is ambiguous and unsupported by evidence. The Catholic activist group Citizen Go Africa has launched an online petition demanding the expulsion of international Planned Parenthood from Nigeria. The petition claims that Planned Parenthood is pouring money into Nigeria in order to promote abortion and the sexualization of young people while neglecting the real and basic needs of the Nigerian people. Finally, a statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary has been vandalised within the grounds of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. The statue, which is known as Mary, Protector of the Faith, is situated in a garden area near the main church. The damage to the statue suggests it was struck in the face with a hammer. The incident was reported to police on Thursday of last week. Well, that's your latest headlines for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also join us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.